from Timcast.com. Female swimmer assaulted by trans activists while speaking on women's rights. Quote, this is proof that women need sex-protected spaces. So you may have seen this story. This is about Riley Gaines. She is a women's rights activist, I guess you'd call that a feminist, who has taken issue with males competing in female sports.
Right.
She was going to be speaking at an event, and a mob of far-left extremists chased her into a room, and then what did they pinned her down for about 3 hours.
Demanded ransom.
Yeah.
They said, make her pay us money.
That's extortion, I guess.
Look at what happened with Brett Weinstein in Evergreen when they were mocking and holding these administrators hostage. It's not the first time.
Yeah, and if anybody doesn't know the Brett story, which you should, either watch the Jordan Peterson or the Mike Nana has wonderful coverage of that.
I actually, a long time ago, produced a miniature documentary at Evergreen with Brett. And so you can search for Brett Weinstein, Evergreen, Timcast or something.
I want you on the show, Brett, if you're listening.
But so what was the latest development here with Riley Gaines?
Oh, so what I wanted to talk about is this a story? Yeah, no question about it. But this kind of stuff, this is an extreme, but it happened to Charles Murray. I mean, it happens all the time. Which really the story is what the university did. They said that they were peaceful protests.
Yeah.
They offered them counseling. They said transphobia has no place in the university. The statement, if you could pull the statement up, it's an utterly remarkable, it's opposite land.
Let me see if I can find it.
This is what is happening in our universities. And this is why it's so important to talk about this. It's, again, what I had mentioned. This is the legitimacy crisis. This is a crisis of legitimacy in institutions. And this is contributing to that.
It's the misuse of the word phobia, that's for sure. Because saying that you don't want biological men to compete in physical sports with biological females doesn't mean you're afraid of trans...
Or women's prisons.
Yeah, it's not that you're afraid of it. I mean, I'm not afraid. I'm concerned, maybe.
And it's not like this person's saying anything radical or crazy. She's just making logical political points that are not out of the ordinary, and to have a group of people chase her down to physically assault her. I mean, I was chased by some of these mobs before. I was assaulted by one of these mobs before. It's not fun to deal with, but the police officers here to cower and not do anything here, and the university to back the attackers here. Man.
It is a deranged statement. And anybody who reads that, if you ever had any question whatsoever that the academies are ideologically captured, read their statement.
Well, so they have New York Post has some of it. They say, following the mayhem, Jamila Moore, vice president for student affairs and enrollment management, emailed students thanking them for taking part in the event. It took tremendous bravery to stand in a challenging space. I am proud of the moments where we listened and asked insightful questions. I am also proud of the moments when our students demonstrated the value of free speech and the right to protest peacefully. Welcome to the modern era.
And you see what they did, free speech, right? You see how they
chased her into a room, demanded money, threatened her life.
All right. And they framed it under free speech.
That's what they do. Is someone playing something or something?
Yeah, I think someone's downstairs on the phone. Can you tell them to get off their phone if that's okay? And that they're
I was actually just communicating with Serge. I missed the top part of the quote that they said, but they were happy that the protests were peaceful.
They weren't peaceful.
Yeah,
but look at what happened with the Nashville 6.
Yeah,
almost immediately, the Democrats. What do they start saying? The Nashville 3. They shift the entire narrative to these Democrats who get ousted for an insurrection at their state capitol.
Yeah.
Insurrection.
You think that all the institutions, all the colleges, I mean, obviously not all of them, but
so
what percentage?
This is a huge question. So I don't know if you've been following the work by Chris Rufo at New College in Florida and other places. So he is working hard to dismantle diversity bureaucracies. And speaking of which, we are in Austin. And one of the things that I'm doing is I'm a founding faculty at the University of Austin, and there's been none of this bullshit at the University of Austin. I can assure you, there's none of this bullshit.
How's that going? Is it
phenomenal? Well over $100 million. We got yeah.
Is it a new university or what?
Yep. It's free speech university. It's what a university should be. It's what a traditional university kind of was.
How old is it now?
It's the first class. We have a summer program, the Forbidden Classes program, and it'll be online 2024.
We got to get a high-speed rail in this city now.
Well, okay.
If we get that down here, we're going to be able to spread out.
Is it online only? Or
no, it's on ground only.
On ground only?
Yeah, and they have classes this summer where I'll be teaching the Forbidden Classes. the Kathleen Stock with gender, Mark Andreessen,
Wow.
Neil Ferguson, Ayan Hirsi Ali.
How big is it? How many square feet? What do you got?
No, it's literally being constructed now.
Wow.
It's in Austin. But so you ask a great question. What percentage of universities? So I think a question is, what percentage of the people believe are caught in the orbit of the ideology? We don't really know the answer to that question because they've been so successful at creating a culture of fear that people won't honestly admit if they believe these truly deranged propositions. So we don't really know, but we know from whether or not there are offices of diversity, equity, and inclusion, which are virtually every university, if not everyone, maybe not Hillsdale, Liberty, the conservative. We know that there are bias response teams at over 150 universities, 250 universities where you can, and that's from Julian Melcher in the Wall Street Journal, published that a few years ago. It's been updated, where people can, students or anyone can file a report that is lodged with the police if they even, basically for thought crimes. So our universities are experiencing ideological capture. This has been the base of my disagreement with Tim. The base of my disagreement with Tim is that this is the nucleation point. This is the point that from which it all erupts. And what we haven't talked about at all, but I probably should mention because it's so important for context, is that I can't, all my publications, et cetera, or someone, let me take it off myself. Someone who has a lot of publications, research, go to Google Scholar, teaching, over quarter century of teaching, et cetera, et cetera. Somebody like that can't just go into the public schools and start teaching. You need a teaching certificate. All of the colleges of education that grant teaching certificates, literally all of them are woke. They're predicated on Paulo Freire's Pedagogy of the Press. James Lindsay, guest of your show, your friend, also talks about this pretty extensively. This is a woke indoctrination mill for teachers in K through 12 systems, and we get this madness.
So I think I disagree with you. I think you're wrong.
Okay.
What we saw with what was his name? Nick Christakis, was that his name?
Yeah. Nicholas Christakis. Yeah.
Nicholas Christakis.
Princeton.
The students.
Oh no, Yale. Sorry.
Freshman students already had this ideology within them.
Right.
They brought it to the universities.
Correct.
And the universities said the customer is always right, and then recycled back to them what they were demanding.
Right. So you're actually making my point, unless I'm not understanding.
You're not understanding.
Okay.
These 16-year-olds are on Facebook. They're 10 years old. They get a Facebook account. They're not supposed to, but they do.
Yeah.
They see nothing but this weird algorithmic garbage. They enter the university and they demand these changes, and the schools say yes because you pay our bills.
But you're saying people from the university gatekeep who gets to teach at the elementary school.
Yeah, we're not disagreeing. We're not disagreeing.
My point was the universities.
Right.
What I'm saying is the universities did not originate this. There's elements of the ideology that obviously you can trace back to academia. What I'm saying is the universities have these things within them because young people were manipulated, brought it to the universities, and demanded it.
Okay, so if the causal explanation for this is solely algorithmic manipulation, then how is it, given that you yourself have said there are an awful lot of ideologies, then how is it that what an utterly remarkable coincidence that it's the ideology taught in universities and it's the same one that the ideology pushes? That's way too much of a coincidence.
When did it become, when did we start seeing these protests, this uproar, the far left extremists? It's been over the past 10 years. It has quite literally been since LexisNexis data points out the emergence of social media around the world created an expansion of this ideology.
It seems like you both have a touch of my side bias because you're a student of the internet, Tim, and you're a student of the academia, it seems, and you're both right. It's a confluence of events. It's happening online.
I'm not disagreeing with you. He's disagreeing with me, which is fine. Totally 100% fine.
What I'm saying is the algorithms amplified our mental, our worldview. At the same time as we started seeing the emergence of the far left stuff, we also saw an expansion of white nationalism.
I got it. Critical pedagogy started before social media. So
yes.
Critical pedagogy was the precursor to that. Those people got social media, Alyssa, all these people, they are in a sense, they actually are, everybody wants to be a victim. This is John Haidt says a victim culture. It is a victim culture, but they are actually victims. They're epistemic victims of a deranged ideology. Those people were then placed in seats of power from K through 12 up, they've been getting that. So the kids who came to Yale, they've been indoctrinated with that stuff for years.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.